How's it going? It's Brett again. Here with another workout over at Shift. So today, format's going to be similar as it has been. We're going to start switching it up soon. But for the time being, I want squat pulse, push-up with a tap, an isometric chest hold, jumping jacks, a side plank with a hip dip, and then a hip thrust or a frog pump. So some of this depends on the equipment that you have, but all of these are going to be done in order. And then at the end, you'll just circle right back to the beginning. Just like the last few workouts, you can go for either 30, 40 minutes, set a timer and just go as long as you can go. During class, typically we'll set the timer for 30 minutes after we do a little warm up, and people will try to get 4 to 6 rounds. So shoot for that range. That being said, grab water as you need to. So our first one is a squat with a pulse. So what that is you can either hold on to a weight or not. So if it's body weight or with the weight, your hands will be right here. You're gonna squat all the way down, come about a quarter of the way up, back down, and then stand. So that's gonna be 1 rep. So every time you go down and come up, I want the back flat, knees out wide, hands in front of the body, right? So I want a total of 20 of those. Then we're gonna go push up with a shoulder tap, and I want 20 total taps or 10 push-ups. So what it's gonna look like is whether you're on your knees or your feet, I want you to give me a push-up, and then you're gonna go tap, tap. So when you do this, just like any form of shoulder tap or anti-rotation, I want you guys to try to keep the hips pretty steady. And if you notice you're wobbling quite a bit, just spread the feet and the knees out a little bit, and that should help significantly. Third movement, right after the push-ups, is gonna be a isometric chest hold. So what that looks like is you're just gonna keep your hands together. I want fingers back, so that way you're almost pushing the bottom of your wrists together. I want the elbows straight, and then you're going to reach your shoulder blades and arms as far forward as possible. That's gonna ensure that we get as much shortening of the chest fibers as possible, AKA like contraction, right? And then all I want you to do, you're gonna squeeze as hard as you can. It should be 100% effort for 10 seconds. So 10 seconds isn't very long, but when you're putting in 100% effort, it should be pretty tough, especially following those push-ups. And then we're gonna go jumping jacks, and I want 50 of those. So for the jumping jacks, you guys have all done these before, I want soft feet, and I want the hands to go all the way up, all right? So when you do this, I don't want you to stop right there. You may as well get some full range of motion through the shoulders out of the movement. Fifth movement is going to be the side plank with a hip dip. This one's pretty familiar to you guys as well. As far as cueing goes, I want you to remember that if I were to look over top of your body from bird's eye view, I would only see one shoulder, one hip, one knee, one ankle. I don't want you guys twisting and turning. So, real time, I want you guys in that side plank, right? And hip down and then up. So when you do this, I don't want this chest falling forward. I don't want the hips leaning back, facing the ceiling. I want everything stacked one on top of the other. So we're gonna go 10 on one side, then you go 10 to the opposite side. And our last movement is going to be either a hip thrust or a frog pump. So this one is depending on equipment. If you have like a couch or a table or like an ottoman, something that is about, this one's a little tall, but you want something that's around the height of your knee. And then for the hip thrust, if you have one of those things, you can put your shoulders on that surface, and then I want it going down and up. So when you do this, as you come down, the chest comes forward, and that's to avoid that arching of the ribs, or the arching of the back, the flaring of the ribs. I always want this as one solid unit, just like we would do in a squat or a deadlift. So you'll give me either 20 of those, loaded or unloaded, meaning you can keep a dumbbell on the hips. And if you don't have something like that, or would prefer to do it on the ground, I want you guys, good, you can see me from here. So I want you guys to do frog pumps. And all this is a glute bridge with a little variation of the feet. So the soles of my shoes are together right now. So the bottom of my feet are stacked on top of each other. And then I want you guys to just bring the hips up and down. So from the side, the knees are out wide, keep bringing the hips up and then back down. So I want 20 of those as well. So either one you do, I want 20. Try to get through as many rounds of that as possible. As many rounds as you can in the 30 minutes or shoot for like the 4 to 6 round range. And then for the little finisher, once you're done with that, I want you to finish with just 2 rounds of almost like this active cool down. We're gonna do, I think it's called the chaturanga. It's up to down dog. I want you to give me 5 of those back and forth, and then I want 10 forward backward steps of a bear crawl. So what that's gonna look like is, forgive me, don't have a tripod today. So for the chaturanga, or the up to down dog, start in push-up position, and then I want you to sink everything back. Try to get your heels as close to the ground as you can, and then bring everything forward. I don't want the thighs to touch the ground though, so we're staying active throughout the whole movement. So when you come forward, big exhale, look up at the ceiling, and then once you're done with that, you're gonna go into your bear crawl position. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. So you're gonna give me 10 steps forward and backward. I demoed it just doing 1 at a time, but if you have the space, you can always just do 10 full steps forward, then 10 full steps backwards. Do 2 rounds of that just to finish, and that's the workout for today. Have a good one.